Okay, so this is a video for simplifying surds. The first one we're going to try and take a look at is the square root of 80. It's asked us then to simplify this. So simplify is a funny word with this, but what we're effectively looking for, we're looking for two numbers that multiply together to give 80, and we want to split this up. So the square root of 80, I'm going to take 16 and 5, and I'll explain why I'm doing that in just a wee second. That's the same as the square root of 16 times 5. I'm sure we all agree that 16 times 5 gives you 80, so that's straightforward enough. That's the same then as the square root of 16 times the square root of 5. The square root of 16 we know, that's 4. And then the square root of 5 just stays as is. So 4 root 5 then is going to be our answer to that. So there's a couple of things about this that we want to talk about. We start off with this and we end up with this. I've used equal signs all the way down here. So this is the same number as this. If you put this into your calculator, square root of 80, hit equals, and then do 4 times the square root of 5, it's going to be the same number. That's important. The other thing is, the trick to doing these is finding as big a square number that's a factor of this number as you possibly can. So 16 is the biggest square number that's a factor of 80, and that just makes your life a little bit easier whenever you're trying to work these things out. Okay, let's take a wee look then at our second example. So second example then is the square root of 28. There's not a whole lot we will do with this one. The biggest square number here that's a factor of this is going to be 4. So we're going to write 4 times 7. That's the square root of 4 times the square root of 7. And the answer to that, that's a 2 times root 7. So 2 root 7 then is going to be our answer to that one. Let's take a look at another. This one's slightly different. It asks you to simplify 3 root 20. So that's the same as 3 times the square root. Again, biggest square number we can think of as a factor is going to be 4. 4 times 5. Again, take a wee look. I'm writing an equal sign. Make sure you understand why this here is the same as this. That's 3 times root 20. So 3 times 4 times 5, which is 20. Our rules of surds say we can separate this out. The square root of 4 times the square root of 5. 3 times 2, because that's the square root of 4, times root 5. Sorry. That's then going to be 6 root 5. 3 times 2 gives us a 6, and then root 5. One of the things people find quite tough about this is it says simplify. I don't know if this looks much more simple than this does, but you want to try and get this number here a good bit smaller than normal, and that's the idea, to try and split these things up. We started up here with the square root of 80. The number within the square root sign, which is a surd bit, we want to try and get it then to be a wee bit smaller. Let's look at one more. Turn over the page here, and then I'll let you try a few. The square root of 200. So what was I saying earlier? We're looking for the biggest factor that is a square number. That's going to be 100. Hopefully most people can see that. So that's going to be 100 times by 2. That's the same then as the square root of 100 times the square root of 2. The square root of 100 is 10 times root 2, so my answer then is 10 root 2. Again, this is supposed to be, this will be in the non-calculator paper in your exam, but if you take the square root of 200, you get 14.1 or something like that, I think. The square root of 2 is 1.41 if you times it by 10. These two numbers should be the same as each other. The reason I've done this one is you can do it any way you want, and you should end up then with the same answer. So let's try the square root of 200. Two factors of 200. Square root of 10 times the square root of 20. 10 times 20 definitely gives us that. This is going to be messy. That's the same as the square root of 5 times the square root of 2 times the square root of 5 times the square root of 4. So I split my, sorry you can't even see that, I split my 10 up into a 5 and a 2. I split my 20 up into a 5 and a 4. Let's rewrite that. The square root of 5 times the square root of 5, just rearranging this, times the square root of 4 times the square root of 2. The square root of 5 times the square root of 5 is the same as the square root of 25, which is just 5. The square root of 4 is 2 times by root 2. 5 times 2 is 10. And the answer then is 10 root 2. So we did get there eventually. It's a terrible way to go. The secret is find the biggest square number that's a factor of this, and you'll save yourself an awful lot of working out. That's what I did above there. But that's the way then we want to try and simplify our surds.